Hello, and welcome to this DivKid discussion from the DivKid stage at Machina Bristronica 2024. Here I am with Componental, who have their new device Dubby. This is currently on Kickstarter, and the link's down below if you'd like to support that. But let's just get straight into the discussion. Welcome, Rasmus from Componental. How are you?
Thanks, man. I'm great.
Good.
How are you?
Yeah, good. Everybody looks happy. Everybody's here to see sims and interesting delays. People are happy. So we met at Superbooth. Well, this was in a bit of an earlier stage.
Yeah.
And I'd like to do a little bit of your background, but the thing you spoke about was like a quadrophonic dub sound culture, which we'll come to. But prior to this, what's your background? Is this the first kind of audio product you've designed? What got you into this?
First audio product? Yes and no.
Okay.
I come from Denmark, from Copenhagen, and our biggest exports are plastic, bricks, psychopharmaca, and pigs, probably. So, I mean, you grow up and you take a degree, and that's the way you go. So I did biomedicine in the beginning, but I always DJ'd on the side, and no one really took it serious. But then, you take a pilgrimage. I went to New York City to a rest in peace place called Dubspot at the time, and it totally changed my perspective on music technology and creative arts. And since then, I started with a friend of mine I played a band with, the Copenhagen Laptop Orchestra. we started a music school in Denmark, in Copenhagen, for music technology, music production, DJing, and sound design, because there wasn't really a place like this. So
what was that model? Was that very much the kind of dubspot thing? Was it very dance music focused? Was it more abstract electronic art?
Free. Like genre agnostic, very Ableton centric, but I mean everyone's welcome. It's always open arms, take your shoes off, plants and coffee. So very much in the dubspot model, but it was living and breathing artists who were out performing, playing live, DJing, releasing tracks. Just super inspiring atmosphere. And Jesper, who's here, helps run this, amazing producer and educator. And the thing is, we all got into this because it opens and it liberates this creative channel. So we get to deal with emotions, and we get to express ourselves without having to break stuff. Or we go and rinse on the dance floor or in the studio, right? And it's the best thing ever to sit in front of someone else and see that they're getting it, like they're onto the same thing. But it's really hard to scale. You can do it online, but you lose something.
It's not the same. Well, that's why we're here today. We'd all just be watching videos at home if not, which you should keep doing, because I make videos for you to watch at home. But do come to events as well.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, I got into an engineering degree because started to take it more serious. But my mom's always on my back. It's like, get a degree, right? And apparently biomedicine didn't pan out. So I met Leo, the co-founder of Componental, there at Sound Music Computing, an engineering degree. Also Simon, who's on the team, and we made Dubby, and it's kind of. I mean, I'm looking back now, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel it's kind of beautiful that we were not able to scale the school model, sharing this passion about music and freedom of creativity, because it had to be one-to-one. We didn't want to go online. Like, we lost too much of the nerve. But with the product, we tried to take all the best things from the music school and from what we do and with technology, put it in a box and just share it with people and build an ecosystem around that where you can experience that kind of exploration and freedom without getting pissed off, with unnecessary limitations, or like you can't update it, or I can't just swap a button because today I feel more lefty than righty. So,
yep, got you.
So it's freedom in a box.
Freedom in a box is a really good tagline. When we met at Superbooth, though, you mentioned this being quadrophonic in nature.
Yeah.
Before we get into Dubby, like quadrophonic dub sound culture in Denmark, what's that? That's not a thing. There isn't a Bristol quadrophonic dub sound system culture that I'm aware of. Maybe there is.
Let's get it going. Yeah. Before Dubby, there's dub. And we're all big dub heads. We love the whole philosophy. And traditionally, the sound systems, you have one big mono stack, which is dope because it's full power.
Yep.
Right? Very rarely you see stereo. Sometimes you do, and every once in a while, someone gets a lot of sound systems together and rarely play them together.
Okay.
So with the Copenhagen Laptop Orchestra, we as much as we could, we tried to say we need to play quadrophonic, we need to play and monitor on the sound system. We don't want monitors, we want to play dub-wise dance hall in front of the sound system. And it's just, why not? why just one channel? Why stereo?
Yeah.
Come on, let's do 4. You can have 4 individual effects if you want. You can have 2 stereo effects if you want. You can have 2 balanced inputs and outputs, or you can run full quadrophonic if you want. But it's up to you.
That was the really interesting thing when I first saw this, that it is just 4 channels.
Yeah, in and out, 4 channels.
Because there may be people watching this here or on the video that are thinking, well, I don't have a quadrophonic system.
Yeah.
But you could definitely find a lot of use for 4 effects.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or 2 stereos, as you say, complete flexibility.
Or you have a stereo effect and you patch in a sidechain input, or you have a stereo delay and you patch into the feedback path. Or it just opens up a lot of fun things to try out.
So this seemed, I heard you say synthesizer, controller, open platform. I was less aware of that side. So what is Dubby specifically? Like, how would you categorize what these boxes on stage are?
This is the ultimate music tool. It's your best friend in the studio or on the stage when you need something like a Swiss Army knife, but for music production, performance, or DJing.
And it's freedom in a box.
Exactly.
I really like that. The thing that struck me was the controls on the sides.
Yeah.
It seemed ridiculously playable.
Yeah.
I was encouraged to pick one up the first time that I saw it. So buttons, there's sliders on this one. There's parts out on stage on the table I've not seen before.
Yes, we have some reveals.
So is this a DSP platform? Is it also a controller? It's not just a controller, we should say.
Yes, and no. Yeah, it's a fully standalone thing. Right now, this is just powered by a power bank. It's USB-C, 5 volts. This one over here is powered by my phone. You can also power it by a computer or a traditional phone charger. Mm-hmm. And it runs 96K at 24-bit, and depending on how aggressive your algorithm is on the CPU, like how demanding your DSP is, you can scale it up and down. So if you're running hot on 96, well, just bump it down, then you have twice the power.
Yeah, got you. So how, is there a curated set of examples? Because open platforms are really inviting for some people, they're not so inviting for other people, where they think, I don't want to get into code, I don't want to have to define what this does, I just want a nice delay.
Yeah.
Is the idea, from your background, it sounds like the idea is to build up this kind of culture of, I guess, patch sharing or firmwares or that kind of thing.
Yeah. So with the Copenhagen Laptop Orchestra, we built a lot of MIDI controllers with Lemur, like the really old ones, if someone remembers those.
I remember Lemur.
And then later on like a tablet, right? And it's a great prototyping platform, but you're missing the tactility of it. And it's really hard to share because you can't share your mappings. It's complicated, it's not easy to share, and it's not performable, really. It's not playable.
Around the time of Lemur, I saw some of those like iPad joystick accessories.
Yeah.
But they were never quite, like they're just not quite right. I think they were more aimed at gaming than they were anything else.
Yeah.
But it still missed the mark.
Yeah, but the idea was great, and we used that for 20 years or so, and hopefully Lemur is going to get rebooted soon, they say. But until then, here's Dubby. And also after that. So what we really wanted to do with this was we want to take, the teensy Arduino, Daisy, Electrosmith, fully tinkering DIY. You just get a little thing with pins on it, and you're like, how do I make a noise? How do I control the noise? You need to know soldering, components, and you basically need to take a degree to really make it nice. Then comes DSP, then comes making it work, making it stable so you can perform with it. On the other side, we have the finished products, which are great, but they're also limited in the way that you can interact with it. Maybe you can't update it, you can modify the hardware or the software. So we want to bridge the gap between the two and just say, hey, we have an app store that's full of algorithms, real-time audio effects, synthesizers, a MIDI controller, mixer. It's a growing ecosystem, and you plug it into the computer, you press install, and you have it, the effect that you want, and it just works, and it's mapped nicely. You still have the freedom to map it around, so you don't need to be technically inclined or like you don't need to be a techie to get it to work. But if you want to, everything that you need to tinker with is open for you.
So is there a kind of nice application graphical interface where you can drop, say, a different filter type in a delay feedback loop, or how does that side of it work? Is that what I would want is really stupid simple?
Yes.
Some days I want to be technical.
Yeah.
There are other days where I don't.
Yeah.
But I do in the moment think, I wish that delay in the feedback path was a low pass and not a band pass, or just that frustrating little thing that, as you say, fixed hardware doesn't do.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be distracted in a computer for long.
Yeah.
So is that the kind of interface you're building and working towards? Can you do that? How much of that can be done on the hardware, or is it entirely handled on the computer?
So with King Dubby, which was one of the delays I think you tried at Superbooth, you can actually change the filter type inside of the feedback path. And you can change, there's a filter, there's an overdrive, and there's a phaser, and you can just swap this around any way that you want. So in some of the algorithms, it's baked in. We want to have as much control on the device as possible. If you don't, if it's not in the device yet, you can program and flash it in Gen Max. If there's any Max MSP people, so you can build it in Max, you press flash, and then it goes to the box. What we recently prototyped and are currently working on is a visual builder in the browser where you don't need to buy third-party software. And it's made specifically for Dubby, so it has the inputs and outputs, the physical controls, and it's a limited system which is easy to get started with, where there's less chance of you making mistakes, and it'll help you with the mistakes. But there, you could visually just patch what you wanted to and put it on the device.
Yeah,
like it's early stage prototype, it works, but it'll come at some point.
Yeah.
But that's the dream, So.
Yeah, great. Can we hear something? Where would you like to start with?
Yes.
What would you like to play to start?
So on this one over here, we have a dub delay, and I have the delay time here, and feedback here. Here's dry wet. So. And here I have the filter. So there's a low pass and a high pass on the sliders. And then on the joystick, I can change. Let's do 50-50. If I push it forward, I can increase the feedback, and then I can fast pull it back. So I can go into this like self-oscillation. And then on the side, I can freeze the buffer. And we can go back. And I can play it in reverse.
It's got that gorgeous kind of just disintegrating away into the kind of upper mid thing that I really like.
So we can go, I kind of like that we can go, let's find something here. So now I've frozen the buffer, and I can scrub around and move into like granular. Yeah.
Just fascinated watching you kind of work the joystick between the feedback and delay time. It's really interesting.
We wanted it to be so like an instrument, so you close your eyes and you can kind of feel your way through the music, and the joystick and the buttons, and just
And being an open platform, you'll be able to define those parameters, I presume. So you want to push I don't know, to 90% feedback, but no more.
Yes,
you can
exactly.
define that maximum and those minimums.
Or just set the parameter either on the box or in the software.
And maybe this plays into the kind of dub sound system culture. Well, first, how would you define a dub delay over a delay? It's a big topic maybe, but
it's an unstable delay.
Okay.
It's built for it's built for you to break it. So you go above 100% feedback. It's dirty. It doesn't necessarily sound good, but that's not that's not the point. Yeah, you know. I think it's an unstable delay.
An unstable delay.
Yeah.
And is there any kind of attempt or goal to model certain technologies of delay? Is there a specific, what would dub sound systems typically have as their delay lines? Is it BBDs?
Yeah, it could be
tape,
that.
PT chips.
This was very much inspired by the SDE 2500, which was a delay that King Tubby used a lot. So that was on the one side for the old school, for the dirty sound, and then on the more new school side, it was very inspired by El Capistan by Strymon. But I love the El Capistan, but I just like, to me, it's just lacking a little bit of the performative stuff. So we tried to mash those two together, and then like the King Dubby delay came out.
You could see, I don't know how well everyone else could see it, but you're playing those filters on the sliders, pushing in and out of. Well, I really went on a tape delay trip. That was my COVID fetish, was tape delays.
Yeah.
But I really like how different they all are. My space echo is quite dark.
Yeah.
But my Echoplex rolls out the low end very quickly.
Yeah.
And it does that thing that did really well of like zoning into the upper mids.
Yeah.
And it just seems to disintegrate away in a really lovely way, as opposed to just getting dark and dull. It seemed like you could bend and twist between those.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing, like, let's talk unstable, and now you're warned. Let's hope it doesn't get too loud.
Is this the bit that sounds bad?
Feedback goes. I mean, this is funny that the delay can do that without any input. It's yeah. So we have another delay. So I'll flip it over here. Let me see. We need this one. If it's all right, you get some more noise.
Yeah, we like noise.
Okay, good. So yeah, this was a more tape style delay, and then we have which the one is like this one. So that's not tape style. Let's see here. Yeah. So different take on a delay. Very much not tape style, but
yeah. It's very well. You could do that all day for me.
yeah.
I like, maybe that's what you learn in a school in Denmark. You become a delay player. Never mind traditional instrument, shall we say? It's fascinating. I'm really interested by what this becomes and where the kind of software will take it. In terms of, you say that one was more tape style, obviously played it in a very non-tape manner. what kind of, you've really gone into the kind of specifics of modeling the inaccuracies of tape in terms of tone or wow, flutter, noise dropouts.
Yeah.
Kind of how super geeky, if you want to, can you go on that?
With the King Dubby, we spend a lot of time getting everything in the feedback path right. So injecting noise, having a little bit of like wow and flutter. It's not supposed to emulate it completely. It's just supposed to sound dirty in the nice way, which with digital is not easy, and with very high bandwidth. And then the other one here is, I mean, we go down to one sample.
Okay.
So you can do like carpal strong, weird filtering when it's down low. I'll explain just a little bit. Here we set the delay time, and here's distortion. So this is like an end of chain effect. Here's a low pass, high pass DJ style filter, and a dry wet. And I engage it by holding in here. And then the funny thing is I can stop the input and just keep the buffer going, and you can kind of play on those two. And then I can skew the delay time here, kind of like on the King Dubby.
Some of those moves were really kind of beat, repeat, stutter effect like in nature. And obviously there's a lot of overlap between those effects and looping and delays.
Yeah.
Can you make it more of a kind of, like Ableton's beat, repeat, for example, where it's tied to the grid, so you're maybe if you don't want those smooth rhythmic changes, you can, 8th note, 16th note, quarters.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. So let me show you a cool thing. So right now, this is connected to my phone, right? Now, here's the App Store where you can go and browse the different effects that we have. And this will be opened up to the community as well. So if you want to make effects or synthesizers yourselves, you can very much in the style of maxforlive.com. You can go and you can give them out for free or remix others or sell them when they come. But for now, we have our store. And I can go and I can update it if I connect it like this. Let's try another one of our effects. This is the kitchen, no, not the kitchen sink. We need the all at once. Here. And I can just install it directly onto the device from my phone, Android phone. And this one is also a combo effect, because we want to also have people using this like on stage. Yeah. So for DJs, this we're getting good feedback. And this has a different, GUI. It's a different type of control. And with this device, we have there's a reverb, there's the reverb time, the reverb mix, there's the delay, and this delay can sync in divisions, and you can sync it via the clock if you want to, or you can set the tempo in here. It can be the follower or the leader.
Yeah, that's a good time to talk about connectivity. I was going to say, is it MIDI synced, USB?
Yeah.
CV?
It has MIDI in and out on the DIN, the big ones. It has USB over, MIDI over USB. You connect it to the computer, and it also gets power. So it's a pretty versatile MIDI controller as well. You can set. Let me show you in the mapping here. If I go into the settings, here are all the parameters for this particular algorithm. And I can go in and I can map it to any knob that I want. Say, for example, I want like the delay mix. Here, if I wanted to map it to knob 2, instead, I just go in and I select the control, and then I can change it to knob 2, to knob 3. I can go in, I can set the minimum value, the maximum value. I can turn them around. It could be from 0 to 1. It could be from 500 to 1,000,000. There's acceleration on. So you can set the curvature, linear, sigmoid, exponential. Logarithmic. So you can that's the one thing I'm missing from Ableton Live in the macro controls, is that you can set the curvature. But with this, you can do it.
Do you say you just loaded some reverb?
Yes.
It'd be great to hear it.
Yes. So. Then I can freeze the effect here. And I have a low-pass filter on the effect as well. And let's go, as you can see, the performance page here. So and I can add in the delay. Yeah.
It's like Street Fighter is the training ground.
Yeah, you can get some combos going.
Yeah.
So we're working on, like, you hold one button, you hold the other one, it latches and it sticks, and you can click the joystick. So it's about finding the sweet spots, locking in, and
So this is the prototype. As I say, the sides are different, having these sliders. What options are you going to have to customize the actual hardware? Obviously, the software is very customizable.
like, we want to make it personal. So if you're more into buttons or sliders, or if you are busy with your hands, you can connect a foot controller, an expression pedal, and we're also working on getting the CV implementation done, so it could talk to most of the studio or stage equipment that you have. And these are, you just unscrew it, you take it out, and it has these connectors. You pop it in, and you choose which accessories you have connected to your device, and the code will automatically make sure that you have the right controls. So a slider doesn't act as a button or an input.
What's availability like? This is going to be a Kickstarter very soon?
Yes, very soon, which means not this Thursday, but Thursday next. We're really excited to finally be selling it, and we really hope to be growing a community, and we would love to get feedback, because we just made it the way we love it, but the way that you might love it or see yourself perform or produce with it is super inspiring, and it helps us build up the ecosystem.
Yeah. I would strongly encourage anyone interested to go and try it at the booth. Just holding it, playing the buttons, even for someone that maybe isn't interested in, say, performing on stage, it being something playful and interactive in the studio, I think is incredibly valuable, even if you want to just hermit away.
Yeah.
And never kind of perform in that sense. Great. Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to talk, and I'm looking forward to playing with it myself.
Yeah. Thank
Great.
you too, Ben, and thank you for being here. And come try it at the booth.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks.